Welcome. It is the Ski Bum Podcast, and it is your pals, Mario and Brian. Mario, what's up?
Getting excited for the Boston Snowbound Expo. That's what's up.
We've been talking about this for like a month now, and I'm sure
Not
some
long
people
enough.
are sick of that, but that's okay. You're
Not
allowed to
long
be
enough.
sick of it. We are super excited. It's our way of kicking off the ski season. It's going to be a great time. We'll talk more about that. We also had a wonderful conversation with our friend, Mr. Doug Fish. He is the founder of the Indy Pass. You may have heard of it. You probably even have one. And he's also the man who started the Snowvana Festival in Portland, Oregon. So East Coast, Snowbound Expo, West Coast, Snowvana.
But not Atlantic Fish. He was not the founder of Atlantic Fish.
Not the founder. It's just true. It is his cousin.
Because we were just talking Atlantic Fish. I'm like, Doug Fish, Atlantic Fish.
There you go.
Maybe that's why we're thinking about him. I don't know.
Doug does not sleep with the fishes. Don't you worry.
Never.
Thank you so much for listening. We really do appreciate it. Check us out, skibumpodcast.com. We're on the socials, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Untapped, at skibumpodcast. Also YouTube. Send us an email, skibumpodcast@gmail.com. Also, if you want stickers, it's that time of year. You got your car, hopefully. You got a bus. You got a van.
You got a backpack. You got a
chuck
trapper
bucket.
keeper.
A trapper keeper. A Yeti thermos. A coffee mug.
They're
something.
good for Yetis.
Stickers. Hit us up. skibumpodcast@gmail.com. We'll send you some stickers. You can just put them wherever you want. We'd really appreciate that. And you got something cool to decorate. You're being an artist then. You're altering your world to be a more beautiful place. So
I like it.
Yeah.
Also, I just found it. The Green Dragon Tavern.
The Green Dragon Tavern.
Yes, in
I like
Boston. Sons of
cool.
Liberty met there.
Maybe we'll be there. Who knows? Maybe we can get in and you can't. I don't know. Maybe there's some sort of secret password.
Maybe we can't get in. I don't know. Maybe I'm just...
They probably won't let us in. Yeah.
Maybe that place burnt down. Who knows?
Who knows? Go to your favorite podcasting apps. Rate and subscribe. We'd really appreciate that. Big shout out and thank you to our sponsor, the Chuck Bucket. This episode brought to you by the Chuck Bucket, a brand new ski rack from a startup out of Salt Lake City, Utah. It's a trailer hitch rack that's designed to hold 8 pairs of skis or 4+ snowboards. Simple to load for the whole family and easy for anyone to install and uninstall from the hitch. Check it out at thechuckbucket.com. One word, no spaces, no hyphens, thechuckbucket.com.
Boom.
And for anyone who likes to shred in the off season, which is ending pretty much as we speak, they also launched a bike rack that works with their modular ski rack platform. So you have your trailer hitch.
Fat tire snow bike, that thing.
There you go. You got the post in there. The bucket comes off. The ski rack goes on. 4 bikes along the back of your SUV. Good to go. Year-round Chuck Bucketry. Check it out. Thechuckbucket.com. Thank you so much for sponsoring.
You got a deer, you could probably put that on there. You got Sasquatch, you put it on there too. Chupacabra, that fits on there.
Probably a cross, like a cabal, like a spit.
That's right.
Not a bad idea. That's actually could be the next Chuck Bucket idea. They can have
Chupacabra bucket.
Spit. The Chupacabra bucket.
Chupacabra bucket.
That's the alternative. We're gonna trademark that. So don't ixnay on the bucket ubakcha chure.
The Chupacabra is the Mexico, right? That's the Mexican Sasquatch.
So, yeah.
So that's our South American, like our southern border retail option.
Well, think about that, Chuck Bucket. What if you took like a barbecue spit, and just have some sort of large animal
bucket
just rotating on there all day?
Spit bucket.
You take off the Chuck Bucket, you take your skis out, you put on the rotisserie, you let it go all day, you get back to your car. Deliciousness is waiting for you.
Dude, you ski all day and then you're roasting something on them skis.
Oh,
think about that. And
that's like charcuterie ski and Chuck Bucket all combined. The charcuterie bucket, like I don't know, possibilities are endless.
Chuba charter ski bucket,
Chupacabra bucket. Thank you, Chuck Bucket. Also, shout out, thank you again, Snowbound Expo. Check them out, snowboundexpo.com in Boston.
Oh, it's gonna be a party. We'll be in Boston. It's gonna be a party
18th and 20th, Yes. 1 if by snowboard, 2 if by skis. We will be up there.
I like that. That might be in the next newsletter.
That's
Sign up
pretty
for that
good,
shit
right?
too.
I've been thinking about that one for a couple weeks now.
1 if by snowboard. Yeah. Snowboard before skis. Look
1
good.
if by board, 2 if by ski. We will be hosting the Snow Skills Cabin Stage. We'll be there Friday to Sunday. You can't miss us. We'll be super loud. We'll be super funny. We'll be introducing some fantastic panels.
It'll be the most fun you could have with your pants on.
Just like Mom always said.
That's it, right?
All right. So check them out. Snowvana Expo. We're psyched. Hope to see you there.
It's going to be interactive. It's going to be like stuff to do.
Yes.
I want to check out the curling. They have a curling thing, and I'm like, I'm really excited.
We're going to give live in-person hugs.
Oh, live
we're giving hugs. Hey, man, this thing hasn't gone down for 3 years. There's going to be some hugging going on.
Wait, awesome. We got to have somebody with a goon hand to protect us from the weird huggers.
Well, as I mentioned on our Instagram post, we're supposed to have Yeti bodyguards.
Oh, yes.
Kind of like
Yeti costumes.
So sort of like if you combined Chewbacca and a stormtrooper. That's what I'm picturing. Picture that. That's what I'm picturing as our bodyguards, as like our goons.
That would be awesome.
Right? That's just what I'm envisioning.
Shit.
Let's kick this off the way we always do.
It's time for Après today.
So what do you got?
I had some reminiscence of skiing in Italy. Ski Italy.
Oh.
Hey. Oh. And it sounds like pepperoni, but it's the end part of that called Peroni.
Did you order a Peroni pizza? What is that? We just take Peroni pour on top of it.
Oh, pepperoni pizza and Peroni. What I just gave you the Peroni and the pepperoni on the side. How about that?
A pepperoni, oni. Oi, oi, oi. That's not a bad idea. That would be a great. Why is it a pizza place? I'm sure they have. Like they have a special deal. A pepperoni and 6 Peronis.
Oh, I like that. Bucket or Peroni with pepperoni.
Right?
Boom.
Have some sort of
special. Tony Baloney.
Like Tony. That's a pizza place in Hoboken. Tony Baloney's.
And send a salami to the boy in the army.
There's that too.
Happy Veterans Day, everybody.
That's right.
Oh boy, that's getting off the rails quickly.
Luckily, it's only a wrapper we're recording now because we've already done the meat and potatoes. It's in the can.
Potatoes. Frank's and beans.
Oh Jesus! Throwback. Shout out to our boy Frank, wherever he is.
Yeah, he revived from the dead. He sent us a text this last week. I'm like,
I haven't heard from him in a long time. I know he had some things he was going through.
He was moving on up to the east side. He
he's living the dream. Yeah,
new house. He's living the dream.
Working hard.
He's all fancified. I don't know if he's too fancy for us, if he's just working his ass off. I think he's working his ass off.
I think he is. I love that guy. He's always got a place in my heart.
That
always
guy.
Got a place on the podcast too.
That effing guy. He has a place in Boston at the Snowbound Expo.
Well, you know, as allegedly he used to take mushrooms and mow his lawn listening to our podcast. Allegedly, perhaps.
I hope he still does it to this day.
Did you know that Colorado legalized psilocybin?
Nice. It's just another thing to do when you're in Colorado.
Another thing. It's going to be an adventure on the mountains. I don't know if you actually buy them, how it's going to go. It's probably going to take like 5 years, just like it did for cannabis, but it's going to be a wacky world out there. I love it.
They're opening up for everything. Can you hunt a human at this point now?
Only in Pueblo County.
It's county. That's regulated by the county.
That's got to be a county level. You can't be doing that in Summit County. You know,
not the whole state, just the county,
just Pueblo County. I mean, you got to try it somewhere. Listen, when McDonald's breaks out like a new Beyond McRib, they're not going to just make them across the country. They're going to try it in a very select market.
When is Beyond going to go too far? Like Beyond cannibal meat? Like I don't know.
Beyond humans. Like, wait, what? Beyond Soylent?
Beyond Soylent Green.
They're not going to stop. It's only going to get more ridiculous. Trust me. Until I can 3D print a ribeye that tastes like a goddamn ribeye, I'm out. I'm very out.
You're 3D printing a ribeye, like that's not a ribeye. That's a bunch of mush formed into a ribeye form.
But what if somehow they're able to take the DNA from like a Wagyu cow, and somehow they're able to just take what's necessary from the DNA strand and the material, because life has to start with something. Is it carbon? Is it just algae? Somewhere you're able to inject enough evolution and DNA into that to turn it into what would have been a full-grown cow that's evolved for millions of years.
This is why the humans are going to go extinct soon, because we're just, whatever happened to being real. Just saying.
Hey, like I said, I need it to be perfected first. I've never tried any of that Beyond stuff because it's gross. If you just want to eat vegetables, fine. Why are you trying to make it into a burger?
I have a whole problem with, I like some vegan products. Like I've had, veggie burgers and all that stuff. And some of them are pretty good. But you know what? I take them for what they are. They're veggie burgers. They're not a substitute meat. There's no such thing as substitute meat.
That's what I'm saying.
And there's not meat.
But you know what? Like salad is great. Cucumbers are delicious.
How
Brussels
about Beyond
sprouts roasted
Salad?
with garlic and olive oil? Wonderful. What?
How about Beyond Salad?
It's just
vegetables made with meat.
No, it's shaved prosciutto. Yeah. Just
right.
This is my Beyond Salad. It's just shaved prosciutto.
It's just meat in different shapes. It's like part of ribeye.
This pork chop looks like romaine lettuce.
It's like a sausage in the shape of like a scallion. I don't know, man. It's just all meat. Just like
that would be
Beyond
the most
veggies.
Awesome restaurant ever.
That would be a great product to put out. Beyond veggies. People are like, I don't know what it is. I'm going to eat it. Yeah, it's meat.
You're like, it's vegan-ish, maybe.
No, it's not. It's the totally opposite of vegan. They're like, oh, I love this stuff. Yeah, because you haven't eaten meat in 10 years.
Anti-vegan. The prosciutto salad, tremendous.
Beyond veggies. Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, it'll happen.
What's the dressing? Cheese. Melted cheese.
It's just like beef tallow.
Oh man, that'd be awesome.
Delicious. Like raw egg. Just pouring raw egg over your prosciutto. It's like steak tartare, pretty much.
That's right.
Awesome.
Oh man. All right, so I'm drinking a nice Peroni. This is a good drinking beer. I gotta say, this is kind of Heineken-ish, but not as bitter as the Heineken. 5.1, dry, grainy, light. Yeah, this is good. Very light drinking. Saz and Hallertau Magnum hops.
It's the best kind.
Italian beer, balanced aroma, light on the palate. So this is really good skiing beer. If you're skiing in Italy, of course.
Where it tastes best, right?
Mm-hmm. I skied Pragelato, drank Peroni like crazy. Skied, and that they had it on tap. Skied Cortina, Peroni, and Augustiner. That was the Harry. That was when I met Harry. When Mario met Harry.
When Mario met Harry.
I'll have what he's having. Yes, well, I'll get you another picture of Augustiner. Okay, perfect.
One of my favorite Harry stories is that I think it was when we went to Jackson Hole with the ski club. And it's like a Saturday morning. We're all flying out. It's 7 o'clock flight, nice and early. And you see him going through TSA, and he has a giant Ziploc freezer bag of shooters, like little liquor bottles, because
bottles.
They're all 3 ounces, which is what you're allowed to bring onto a plane. And he had just a Ziploc bag full of them. And we're kind of like, is this going to work? Like, is he allowed to do this?
Yeah.
He was allowed to do this.
They're under 3 ounces each, so they're totally illegal, and TSA doesn't regulate. What they started doing now, and I call this the Harry effect, is if you go on a flight now, they say you are not allowed to bring your own alcohol on board or consume your alcohol. They don't say you can't bring it, but they say you can't drink it on the plane. That's the Harry effect. A lot of people don't know you can bring your own food. You can bring a sandwich. You can bring it all the way through TSA and bring it from home and bring it onto the plane.
I brought a couple packages of biltong. I had apples with me, and it's not a big deal. Yeah.
No, as long as it's not liquid. And I actually it wasn't a Yeti. Thank God it wasn't a Yeti freezer pack. I had just a regular, it was a pretty good quality freezer pack, but it was melted. And the TSA people, they pulled me over. They searched like, yeah, we have to throw this out. I'm like, why? It's just a pack, and they're like, well, it's more than 3 ounces, and it's liquid right now because it's not frozen. They said the trick is if it's frozen, it's not considered a liquid.
There you go. So freeze everything.
Freeze everything. Just freeze it all. Nice. Freeze your weed. Just take it on. I'm sorry.
This is my weed pack for sleeping. I need it in my neck pillow.
Yeah, it's my neck pillow weed pack. Yeah. 3,000 milligrams right there.
Yeah. All right. So my app rate today, I was a lot more excited about it when I had my first sip, and then I started reading about it online. I got this as a gift. So I have.
What do you mean you felt worse about it after reading it?
So I have 818 Tequila Blanco.
818.
Just have it on the rocks. It's a very tasty tequila.
Is that Lauderdale?
A lot of vanilla. Why is that the area code there?
Oh, I'm thinking A1A. Never mind.
Beachfront Avenue. Oh, yeah. Nobody? Everybody? We all know. I got this as a gift. I think it was for my birthday. And I was like, oh, I'd never heard of this.
I know why.
Of course. It's the first thing that comes up. I didn't know. Apparently, this tequila is owned by Kendall Jenner. Like, why? I tried it last week for the first time. I had it in my freezer. I was like, I'm gonna have some of this. It's very smooth. It is very vanilla-y. It's not like, this is like teenage girl tequila.
There you go.
And sometimes I'm in the mood for teenage girl tequila. It's very vanilla-y. It's very smooth. You don't get a lot.
If anybody sees us at the Snowvana Expo, please bring a bottle of 818 for Brian.
And some Red Bulls.
Of course.
After we talked about, the sad death of the Red Bull co-founder, I finally watched those documentaries that I was talking about and looking for. And it's crazy. The actual founder found it in like the 60s or 70s. Like, I think maybe he started like a pharmaceutical company, and then he made this, had a different name, Kradong Gong or something. And then in the 80s, that's when the dude from Austria came and drank like 7 of them, and eventually turned into a thing. And it's pretty cool. It's only like a 15-minute documentary on YouTube. But it costs it did then like 9 cents to make a can of Red Bull. Like, that's what the ingredients cost. I'm sure it costs less now, right? They probably bulk. Economies of scale. They're like, and you go to their website, they don't talk about the drink. It's like the 4th thing on their menu. It's like, first it's all about like sponsorships and marketing, and like that's what it is. It's like a big marketing company, and this drink is like kind of at the background, which is hilarious and brilliant at the same time. They used it to create their marketing company. It's great. It's genius. It really is. But the original one that was made in Thailand wasn't nearly as sweet. Then when they brought it to Europe, they added more sugar to it. And the one in Thailand was made for the kind of like the working people. They weren't focusing on the city, white collar jobs, more of the blue collar folks, the truck drivers. They wanted them to have that energy drink so they can keep doing their work. Nice. Well, when they brought it to Europe, they made it more of a premium thing, and they jacked up the price. They added more sugar to it. Nice. And lo and behold, they just give them to like college kids, and they would just pass them out at parties and have fun, kids. It's crazy. It's so crazy, the whole story. Genius. But anyway, speaking of little girls drinking, I didn't realize Kendall Jenner started this company. Whatever. They're billionaires. Like, there's nothing I can do about it. Nothing I can do about it. Very vanilla, creamy. There is. It is kind of tasty though. If you're feeling like having something, and you and Justin Bieber enjoy that drink, don't you? It's such a. What am I gonna do? I am what I am. Look at what they did. Look what the Jenners did to Reggie Bush. He's doing fucking Wendy's commercials now. Broke that man. Look at Kanye. Kanye's just. He's wandering in the desert now. And you know what? We were talking about the Gap, the Yeezy Gap. Yeah. Right after we talked about it. Boom. Gone. Done. They said Ski Bums talked about it. Out. Yeah.
Let's go to ski news.
How about this? How about everything opening up all over the West? Not the East, unfortunately.
And you get to open, and you get to. Hey, I just actually looked up. Mountain Creek is opening December 17th. It's coming.
Well, we'll look forward to that in 5 weeks.
Damn it.
Dude,
I was late to the ball.
now in New Jersey, it's like 65 degrees.
Damn.
And it's going to be 70 tomorrow. I think it's that hurricane thing that rolled through you, like rolled through where you guys were. We're getting the remnants of it, and it's just this like muggy, sticky, crappy air, and then it's going to drop into the 40s by Monday.
Beautiful down here. Beautiful.
Yeah.
The rain came and went in 2 days, and now it's goddamn gorgeous.
Gone. Beautiful. You know what's even more beautiful? Right now in Colorado, Icon Pass resorts are opening. Winter Park open. A-Basin open. Eldora opened. We're recording this on the 11th, Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day. Eldora opened today. 60th anniversary kicking off. Full week ahead of schedule.
Nice.
One run is open, but they're open. Aspen opening next week, the 19th. That is beautiful and early. They had over 3 feet of snow dump out there. They were originally scheduling for Thanksgiving. They're doing it a week early. Why not? California, nice. Mammoth open. Big Bear opening this weekend. How about Palisades Tahoe? They're opening the 18th also. Utah, Solitude open. There were some pictures, crazy lines that were at Solitude today, but they're open. Brighton also open today, the 11th. Snowbird opening next week. They're pushing it out a week earlier because of how much snow. They have a 67-inch base.
Ooh.
There was some article saying Alto's got, more than that somehow, which even though they're next to each other, I don't know how it's possible, but we use different measuring sticks, meters, inches, whatever. Crystal Mountain, Washington, opening 11/18. Their 60th anniversary as well. Schweitzer opening the 19th. They had 3 feet of snow dumping up there. So getting a bonus weekend, opening a little bit early. Canada, Ski Big 3, baby. Banff, Lake Louise, Norquay, they're open.
That's pretty awesome. That's where I want to try to get a place.
Yeah. So Banff, Lake Louise opened on the 3rd and 4th, and then Norquay opened yesterday on the 10th.
Damn.
Beautiful thing.
Damn.
A lot of snow means a lot of opening of resorts. It's a beautiful thing. Keep dumping. Stay cold. East Coast, we need some cold weather and some snow because Killington is due to have the World Cup in less than 2 weeks.
Damn, that's pretty neat.
Crazy.
In Dummerston, a plan to turn the old Maple Ski Valley into a brewery and distillery received approval from District 2 Environmental Commission.
This is Vermont.
This is Vermont.
Sugar Mountain.
Not Sugar Mountain, North Carolina, which I have skied.
The old Maple Valley ski area.
Yes. They have approval. They're going to turn it into a distillery and brewery. Sugar Mountain tried and failed to convince us that the rock concerts and other proposed events for this location would hardly be noticeable because of traffic on Route 30. And
they were trying to get an application to host 24 outdoor events featuring amplified music.
So they were picking them apart and shaking and jiving, and they got approval to renovate the lodge into a brewery and distillery area with a 30-seat tasting room. And they also proposed 24 large events a year requiring overflow parking in the parcel along the river.
It's so funny when you go and look at where this place is. I mean, this is such a Vermont story because
it's like
those people are so uptight about anything new and anything changing.
There's nothing around it.
And they're like, it's going to be so loud and it's going to ruin everything.
How is that going to...
The spotted cockatoo is going to be moving 5 miles further away. And it's going to ruin my yoga chi that I have in the morning.
Yeah. Like, they're like, it's going to cause traffic. I'm like, it's a dirt road with nothing around it. Like, traffic would be good for this.
Vermont hates new. Vermont hates anything that's like progress and commerce and bringing money into the state. They hate that.
Oh, yeah.
Which is why when you go and stay at a hotel in Vermont, there's all these ridiculous taxes they tack on. It's like, hey, it's $150 a night. And you're like, why did I just pay like $300 for the night? It's like, well, it's a few taxes we have to charge.
Yeah, we have the bird tax, the water runoff tax.
So Maple Valley operated at this property from the 1960s until 2000.
Damn.
And it's crazy because the application for this was submitted 1,000 days ago. Another classic Vermont move. That's 3+ years.
That's bullshit.
What were you doing in that time? You were
They
locked
were
up.
not doing their job.
You had
because
9
you know
masks
what?
on. You probably had to use like tweezers or like tongs to pick up the application to look at it. They had
But
a
it's
panic
just like
attack.
when they, but it's like we've talked about when they pass a law, like they passed in New Jersey to legalize recreational marijuana, right? Is there any recreational marijuana to be found in Jersey?
I think there's 7 dispensaries for the most densely populated state in the country.
Right. Is there any in your local area that you've gone to?
Oh yeah, I drive past one whenever I go to Costco and everything else.
Oh, all right.
I haven't got any yet because there's always a stupid line.
Right, but that's only in the last what year?
April.
So,
yeah.
And they passed that law what 3 years ago?
I think it was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
So they took like a year, maybe longer, to even put something up or authorize somebody to put something. That's part of the problem. Like, you know, like the people say, hey, we passed this. It should go into action right away. The slow hands of time, the slow hands of
like no one has any sort of like, let's get up and go here.
Yeah.
Let's get this thing moving, rolling.
Well, because like, you know, this is going to cost a little money, little greasing of the wheels of change.
Payola? A little payola, perhaps?
Whoa. We didn't call it payola. I said greasing of the wheels of change, not payola. Yeah, it was you, not me talking. But
so it's crazy because 370 acres on the west side of Route 5 and 5 acres on the east side. And one of the comments they made is that just because someone lives on a state highway doesn't mean that living next to a 24 rock concerts per year isn't shocking or offensive.
Well,
it certainly would be to the average person.
What?
Like you live next to a highway, like, and there's 370 acres. I get it, but this is like the most Vermont thing possible. I mean, there's a cemetery next to it that may upset some of the corpses there that are there from like, you know, the Ethan Allen days.
Yeah. You know, it's not the most Vermont things ever.
What's that?
These things.
Look at that.
Stickers. Boom.
Stickers. If you want them, let us know. ebumpodcast@gmail.com. You know what else is awesome? Boulder, Colorado has just announced they have new names for their snowplows.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
Ah, Boulder. What a fun, wacky place.
Good old Boulder.
They're happy. Eldora's open. They're getting their ski on there. It's only about 40 minutes from there. They had a contest, and they just announced the 10 winning names for its snowplows that are part of the city's second annual snowplow naming contest.
Huh.
The names were picked from more than 40 entries. Elementary school students in Boulder were asked to submit their favorite names for the city's snowplows.
I like that.
Inspiring creativity around a routine topic like snow clearing is a fun and impactful way to connect with our younger community members, said City of Boulder Business Services Supervisor Renee Lopez. We hope to bring this contest back again and again. Here we go. Here are the winning names. Snow what? Snow Cappuccino. My favorite, Snow Buffet.
I like Snow Buffet.
Flurry. Frostosaurus.
That's a good one too.
Snow Monster. Winter Wonder. Grateful Sled.
That's a witty one. I like that too.
That's a good one. Plow Arena.
That's pretty good too.
And Katie. Just Katie.
So are they naming all the plows the same? Or are they giving each plow its own name?
Each plow has its own name.
See, I like that.
I like that, right?
Because I saw Snow Buffet out in the down the road, and
Snow Buffet came by, ran over my cat.
That's right.
So the winning names will be featured on 10 city snowplows for the 2022-2023 snow season. The winners will also be invited to take a photo with the snowplow they named.
Oh, that's awesome. I like
cool.
that.
That's fun.
Very cool.
So there you go. Fun stuff, good stuff happening out in Boulder. plus the snow they're getting, which is also great. Heading out to Eldora, getting some ski on.
Boom.
And that wraps up the ski news for the week. And now, onto our main topic.
Drum roll.
As we mentioned earlier, we had a wonderful conversation with our pal, Mr. Doug Fish. He is the founder of the Indy Ski Pass. We've talked about it plenty of times. If you don't know, Indy Ski Pass, collection of, right at this point, 133 resorts all over the world. You buy this pass, you get 2 days at each of those. That's 266 days, which would be an amazing accomplishment if you're able to hit all of them in 1 year. No one's done it yet. I think they've maxed out around like maybe almost 40. So
yeah, it's pretty low for what he said the record was, but I want to know what the record is.
Yeah, it's somewhere in the 30s or close to 40. So we had a wonderful chat with Doug. Also, he is the founder of the Snowvana Festival, which is going down in Portland, Oregon next weekend, the 18th through the 20th. We think you'll enjoy it. Here's our chat with Doug Fish. All right. And we have another very special guest this week. I believe this is your third time on the podcast.
Yeah.
You're in an elite circle there, my friend.
Oh, I feel like Tom Hanks on Saturday Night Live.
You got your Halloween David Pumpkins costume on if people are just listening.
Right.
Doug Fish, Indy Pass, thank you so much for joining us and welcome again.
It's great to be here. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, so a lot of stuff has been happening since the last time we chatted, which was about, I think it was early August of last year, so 2021.
Yeah, over a year.
That was before your movie came out. Now you have 2 movies. What's been the biggest thing that's changed with the Indy Pass in the last year and a few months?
Well, there's been a lot of change, that's for sure. But I think the biggest change is the number of resorts we've added. Since a year ago, we've probably added, or since we talked, maybe 60 resorts.
Yeah, I think we were around 60 or 70 at that time. Yeah.
Yeah. We're at 133, and we'll be adding 2 more next week in Colorado, and we've got a few more in the Northeast that will be announced before the end of this month. So yeah, we continue to grow on the resort side, and pass sales are growing as well. So that's the biggest thing that I see, and that's the most exciting thing for me.
That's the most important thing, right? I mean, you obviously saw something in the market back in 2018 when you first came up with the idea, right?
Yeah, January of 18, we got the kernel of the idea.
And then was it the 2018-19 season where you first came out with it?
No, it was 1920.
1920.
We launched it. It took us 18 months to put it together. And we got the idea when Alterra announced their formation and that the launch of the Icon Pass, and that was in January of 18.
So it's very cool because, again, there was that duopoly there, and you were kind of almost felt like you were stuck with those 2 options. And then, you produced this new product. It was great at the time. How has the resort management changed at that time? Because I'm sure at that time you had to go reach out, kind of do a pitch to everybody, see who you could get. Now, is it more places coming to you, or are you still having to go out and kind of go to these resorts?
Well, it's definitely a lot easier to make those cold calls. When we first started, nobody would talk to us, and they just smiled and said, "That's a cute idea. Good luck." And we're at 133 resorts now, so obviously, everybody's heard of the Indy Pass, and most of the resorts that we've wanted to join the program have joined. There are a few that out there, a few really great resorts that we'd love to get on the program. And you know, they know us and we know them because we call them every year. And you know, it's kind of it's evolved, and it's the market has matured, so to speak, in that regard. But no, I've made some great friends and met some incredible people along the way, and now that we're established, you know, things are shifting a little bit.
And I know last time we chatted, you had enough of it was formal or informal. You had a certain radius or area where you didn't want to oversaturate any market, because you didn't want to. You wanted this to benefit the resorts and not hurt them in a way or make them unhappy for joining it. Have you tweaked that formula at all, or is that still pretty consistent?
You know, it's not really a formula. It's more of a gut instinct, to be honest with you. You know, we're pushing the envelope, I think, in terms of our density a little bit more each year, because, you know, we see that the market can handle the density that we've developed. And, you know, we want to see if we can add another resort here and there. And you know, our fear is that somebody will buy an Indy pass and, you know, realize they can get, you know, 8 or 10 days on their pass with it and sleep in their own bed. And at that point, you know, they may consider not purchasing a season pass. And the last thing we want to do is cannibalize season pass sales at our partner resorts. So, you know, we track every visit. We see when and where everyone skis, and we can, you know, we can apply some algorithms to that data and determine if we can, you know, plug in another resort, say in New Hampshire or in Vermont or, you know, Minnesota. There are a number of states where we need to give it a year's worth of data to see, okay, that worked. Yeah. And, you know, up in New England, we added several new resorts, but they're allied resorts, we call them. And essentially they provide a discount as opposed to a free pass to each of our pass holders. And that then doesn't affect the yield that we pay the resorts. It doesn't tap into the fund of the revenue that we have set aside for our partner resorts. And so that's one way that we've been able to address the density issue and allow more resorts to participate in the program without getting too many, you know, and ruining it for everybody.
And now was last year the first you did the Allied Pass?
This is the first year.
This is the first year. And how does that work versus the regular? You have a regular Indy Pass. You get two full days at all of the participating resorts. How does this work?
So anyone that buys an Indy Pass gets 2 full days at our full partner resorts, and then they can also ski at our allied resorts for a discount. And they get 50% off on non-peak days and 25% off on peak weekends and holidays. They can go as many times as they want to those allied resorts, and it's not a separate pass. It's all included in your Indy Pass, and those resorts are able to also offer the Indy Pass to their season pass holders at a discount. So now their season pass holders have the opportunity to ski at all of our other resorts for about 30% off. And so it adds more value to their season passes. It helps with their attrition, and you know, just supports the community in general.
Was that something you and your team thought about when you created the Indy Pass, or was that something that just sort of evolved naturally when you were trying to increase the number of resorts on there?
You know, I always felt bad when resorts would call and say, "Hey, we want to join the pass," and I'd have to tell them no. You know, we've got too many resorts in your area, and it started feeling a little bit too elitist to me. And it
was the opposite of what you were going for, right?
Yeah, you know, we want to be very inclusive, and we want to support all Indy resorts if we can. And so we came up with this this second tier, so to speak. And this will be the first year that we have it in place. I know that a lot of our allied resorts are in New England. We've got some scattered all over the country, of course, but New England will really be the test of whether or not this is going to work. And we're hopeful it does. And, there's no reason we couldn't have 300 resorts on the Indy Pass between our full partners, our allied partners, and we've also added cross-country resorts this year. And that was a new thing that we did in the spring. We have, I think 20 or so cross-country resorts signed up. Again, a good amount of those in New England. And with your Indy Pass, your regular Indy Pass, you get 2 days at each one of those. So, we're just trying to add as much value and spread the love as much as we can.
Yeah, for sure. And have there been any major surprises that you've encountered along the way, whether it's the number, like the amount of usage, or I guess it's still kind of an evolving beast, right? I mean, you're adding this new Allied Pass this year. It seems like every year there's always something a little bit different.
Yeah, well, we're learning as we go. I'm sure Vail is still learning, things about the Epic Pass, after 10 years. And nobody's done this. We don't have a model that we can really look at. And so with each season, we learn a little bit more. Some of our biggest, the things that have been the most, that really stand out the most are the usage of the pass. It ranges from 0 days to over 30. And, we have a bell curve, so to speak, of usage, and that data really helps inform what we do with pricing and resort density. It's fascinating stuff when you're able to track all those redemptions.
Oh yeah. I'm sure there's just tons of interesting data that you have.
It's more than I can get my head around.
And I don't know if you mentioned it to you. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's there. If we ever, want to tap into it, it's immense,
I know last summer, I think after we spoke to you, I think you went on Tim Ski Rex Media's podcast, and we talked to him before then, and we had the idea there should be like an Indy Pass, like WWE type belt for the person with the most usage. Did he put that past you?
Not exactly. He said, well, what if somebody could visit all the resorts? And I said, oh yeah, we'll give them a free pass for life if they could do that. And
now they got to go to Japan. So it makes it a lot more complicated, right?
Well, they've got to go to 135 resorts next week. And if somebody could do that, they deserve more than a free Indy Pass, believe me.
Once we were saying like that championship belt for the season could get you a free pass the next year.
Yeah. It's, I'd love to do that. It's just, there's only so many hours in the day, and we've got a tiny little team, and you don't
have a belt guy.
No. And, the data's there. It's hard to extract though, to be honest with you. So, but yeah, we would love to have a belt guy. We just haven't, we've got so many other things that are higher priority. But those guys that ski 30, 40 days on the pass, they know who they are, and they know they're pretty happy about what they got for their money, so to speak.
Well, if I ever encounter a belt guy, I'll send him your way at least.
Yeah, please do. I said I would love to talk to him.
So besides the Indy Pass, which has been an awesome success, you've also been getting into the movie industry. In Pursuit of Soul, last year, that came out after I think it came out, it wasn't even announced when we spoke, so we didn't talk to you about it. That came out, and then just recently, In Pursuit of Soul 2, Midwest Independence came out. Yes. And now these are short films by Teton Gravity, TGR, that are, now, how are you involved with that, the Indy Pass?
Well, technically, I'm an executive producer. That's a fancy word for sponsor.
You get a chair out of that?
No chair.
Oh.
No. A T-shirt.
That's something.
But yeah, no. We went to TGR about a year and a half ago with the idea, and the idea was, hey, you guys do great films about some of the most exotic ski locations on the planet, and but most of your viewers will never jump off a cliff in the Chugach, or drop out of a helicopter onto the top of a mountain in the Canadian Rockies. And most of the places that are available for people to ski are just, regular old ski resorts. And I said, why don't you do a film about some of these indies and tell that story, because nobody's ever done it before. And they loved the idea. They fell in love with it. They said, well, we want to do this. We need some help. We can't do it for free. So Indy Pass kicked in a few bucks, and we got 12 of our resorts that were interested in participating. They each kicked in a little bit, and TGR kicked in, and they produced that first film last year, and it turned out to be a big success. Won an award, and it's had hundreds of thousands of views on YouTube, and it was very fun. It was cool to get some exposure for not only those resorts, but all the people that run and work at independent small resorts all over the country. And it was very gratifying to tell that story. And so it went so well, we said, well, heck, let's do another one. And I said, okay, well, we need to go to the Midwest then, because, not only has there never been a ski film made about, small resorts, nobody's ever made a film about skiing in the Midwest. I mean, those of us in the West and up in New England, we kind of snicker at people that ski in the Midwest. And I thought, how can it be that people are, when I started this project, I knew there was resorts there, but I didn't realize, the nature of it until I went there and I skied there. And, yeah, they're small hills, we're talking 200 to 500 vertical, but the people there who participate in the sport are no less passionate than anybody who, lives in Summit County or Lake Tahoe or, Burlington, Vermont. And I really came to appreciate what they have there. And so I floated that idea to TGR, and they liked that one too. So we did it again. And it's a really cool story about, hey,
how you doing?
Good, Mario. How are you?
Good to see you again.
Yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to be back. Yeah.
We're just talking about In Pursuit of Soul 2, the Midwestern adventure.
Yeah.
My dog's scratching my head right now. So.
Oh, well, mine's probably going to start barking here in a minute because he thinks it's dinner time.
Mine plays this game where he likes grabbing my hat and running around the house and making me catch him. So that's why every time I put on a hat, he's like, give me that damn hat.
Yeah, he loves to chase, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I've got one like that too. He loves to play keep away. So yeah, the film just came out, and people love it, not just in the Midwest, but all over the country. And we've had, people, resorts from all over want to show the film, and it's really a fun project. There's no cliff jumping. There's no neck deep powder shots. It's just about real life in the ski business.
It was actually very calming when I was watching it yesterday. I was like, this is kind of soothing to just watch a nice story about the resorts and people, and
no cornices cracking off and avalanches and helicopter rescues. None of that.
And you know, to tell these stories of the people behind the sport is really cool. And you know, we're talking to TGR about In Pursuit of Soul 3, and nice. We'll hopefully be able to, you know, keep the series going.
Well, it's funny because Mario and I were talking a few weeks ago. Once all the trailers and the, you know, the yearly ski films all started coming out, you know, we always check them out, and it's not to sound like jaded or like it just seems like it's a lot of the same thing, like you mentioned, people jumping off of helicopters that you're not going to do, or showing the same things that you've seen before in places you're not going to go, and them showing off the new gear for the year. You know, it seems like it's a lot of, and again, it's marketing. Obviously, I get that, but I don't know. Like, there isn't like a, not again, blanket statement. It's not as, maybe it's not as fun as it used to be because it's a lot of the same formula. Yeah. But when you see something like this, like the first movie, I wanted to hug every person at Saddleback.
I know
that town, what they went through, and the joy they had getting their resort back. Like, I wanted to hug every one of them. They were such passionate, great people. How could you not want to support a place like that? And again, the great guys getting sponsored, like they're the best of the best. And that is so cool. And that's incredible what they do. Yeah. And in that movie yesterday that I watched, In Pursuit of Soul 2, those kids, I think it was it The Rock, where they had the nighttime skiing? The park. I mean, these kids just lapping the park till 10 o'clock at night. I thought about myself, if I was in high school and I had a place like that where every night after school, my buddies and I could go hit the park. I mean, that's like a dream come true.
Yeah, I know.
And you know what? You're living in Telluride, 4 o'clock trail, you know, gondolas.
That's what I used to do when I first started skiing. It was, you stay till the end. I mean, it was all night skiing. My first 3 years of skiing was all night skiing.
Yeah.
And then when I first went in the day, I was like, oh my God, I could see everything. This is cool.
Yeah.
I love the part with the crock pots. Like, you see all the crock pots set up.
Oh yeah. At Cabernet. Awesome. When I visited there, you know, they've got these long tables. They're like workbenches, you know, that line the whole perimeter of their downstairs lodge. And every 4 feet there's a plug-in. it's crazy.
It's
and
awesome,
people come and it's just, you know, packed with crock pots. It's the Midwest way, you know.
That's awesome.
You know, and
honor system, don't touch anybody else's crock pot.
Oh, everyone's sharing, right? You got one guy's got guy's got spaghetti and meat sauce.
Yeah. Matthew Zabransky, who does what you guys do in the Midwest, MidwestSkiers.com. He asked me, so do you like to call it a hot dish or a casserole? What's your, you know, obviously they're big in the Midwest, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's just the culture is so, it's just really infectious.
Yeah. You won't get that at Beaver Creek.
No. And people from Beaver Creek will never go to, you know, Wisconsin to ski.
Right.
So they can go watch the film though.
Yeah.
I will tell you, the first thing I did after watching that was look for ski resorts for sale. First thing I did.
Oh yeah, I know. Oh yeah, what a great lifestyle would that be? Huh? I mean, those young guys, they bought ski resorts in their 20s, and you know,
was that Little Switzerland? Was that the one?
Yeah, Little Swiss and Tyrol Basin. Both, you know, a couple of young guys just said, "Hey, this looks cool. This looks fun. I think I can make this work." And you know, they devoted their life to it, and you know, it's become a success. And you know, anything you do in life, you have to be committed to, and that's what they were, and it worked.
Yeah, that was so cool. I love the guy. I think it was the guy from Tyrol Basin, picked up his son, 8-year-old son from school, and they went right to the mountain and just started shredding together. And I said to my wife, my son's 5. I said to my wife, I'm like, this is what I want. This is all I want out of life. Is to be able to pick up my son from school and take him skiing. That's it.
Yeah. And, you know, you don't have to live in, you know, Truckee, California, or, you know, wherever Colorado to do that. You can just move to Milwaukee.
Who would have thought, right?
Or you know, Twin Cities, and you can ski, you know, 10 minutes to get to the hill.
Well, that was so cool showing some of those shots from the mountain where you're seeing the whole downtown.
The skyline, yeah, Buck Hill.
Right there, yeah.
Yeah, I went to Buck Hill for the world premiere, and it's like 10 minutes from the airport.
Nice.
It's like 10 minutes from the Mall of the Americas or mall. Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh, that's cool.
It's just very cool. And so that's what the Midwest is all about. You got to go there, and it'll just give you a whole new appreciation for this great sport.
Well, it makes you rethink a ski trip too. You're like, you lug your stuff, you go in, you're flying somewhere, then you take a bus, then you get to the hotel. Logistically, there's a lot to it, but like you said, you go to a small town, you fly in, you're there, you're skiing. Like, why is that not great either? Like that. Of course, it's magical, right?
Well, Mario, like one of your I went to Holiday Valley up in upstate New York a couple of years ago for the first time. That's where Mario was talking about his like night skiing adventures.
Where I learned how to ski.
I went to Ellicottville and I was like, this place is fantastic. I mean, they've done a lot of work. It's beautiful, the lodge and everything there. But, the whole thing with the crock pots, they had a bunch of that going on there too. It was kind of like that nice mix of, newer, kind of fancier, but also that old school family. Because you're not quite in the Midwest there. You're still Western New York, which you call that Midwest, they will get mad at you.
They get mad.
Cleveland is an easy drive from there. I think it's like maybe 3 hours or so.
Correct. Yeah.
So that feeling is so different than, again, going to like Mario said, Beaver Creek or going to a Park City. It's just like, you almost feel like you're just kind of it's almost like a cattle call versus being, or going to it's like going to like TGI Fridays versus going to like a local mom and pop restaurant.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, not take away anything from the Western resorts. I mean, if I had my druthers, I'd much rather ski 2,000 feet of vertical as opposed to 200.
Right.
It's a better experience. And people in the Midwest will tell you, I mean, it sucks having hills this short, but this is all we've got. So you make the best of it. But
what was the quote from the one guy? He said, it's like, don't dream about what you want what you dream about. Or there was Paul Underwood, the guy.
Appreciate what you got.
Don't.
Yeah. Rick Schmidt said, our yo-yo string's just a little bit shorter, but we still like to play with the yo-yo.
I love that quote. Yeah.
Keep lapping it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But it really makes you realize, and we've talked about it before, it's just, this is where you learn how to ski. Like if you're local, that you go into these local mountains, this is where everything starts out,
Yeah, no question. And if you're a beginner or a intermediate skier, that's all you need to have a fun day. You don't need 2,000 vertical and 2,000 acres.
Right.
Imagine your first day in skiing ever. They're taking you up the tram at Jackson. And you're seeing Corbett's. Yeah. You're like, this is skiing. I'm out. I'm done. Back down.
I'm never doing that.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, that's where people learn to ski in the Midwest, and then they head west. That's what they do. A lot of great skiers have come out of the Midwest, and they all started on a little hill like that.
Yeah,
that's
so
awesome.
Cool. It starts the passion. It gets you started. And then you get to the level where we are at, this level of insanity, where you all you want to talk about and do is ski.
Right.
So speaking of that, Snowvana.
Yeah,
now, I remember initially the question I sent you, I'm like, how'd you get involved? I actually did a little bit of research and saw that you're actually the founder of Snowvana. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. Yes.
And you've been doing this since 2016?
That was our first year. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
See, this is what I love about you, Doug. You find holes in the industry. You find where there's a need or a want, and you fill that.
Mm-hmm.
So how did Snowvana come to be?
Well, in my hometown of Portland, Oregon, we've always done a little bit of work for Timberline and Ski Bowl up on Mount Hood, and that's our home mountain. I ski at Meadows a lot, and I've always done, for the last 25 years, I've done marketing for ski resorts, and Timberline and Ski Bowl came to us and said, hey, we want to put on a new kind of event in the Portland area, and we'd like you to put it together. And so, there was another show here that was a kind of an old style expo. It was kind of tired, and they thought that there was something better out there, and so we created Snowvana, and with the idea that it would be a Get Stoked festival, and get people pumped up in the early season, and so we brought in films, we brought in live music. The thing has evolved, of course, and at first the emphasis wasn't so much on going and getting a deal on a pair of skis like all ski shows are. It was more about the stoke and the entertainment value, and so we did that for a few years, 4 years to be exact, and then COVID happened. Everybody had to take the year off in the show business. And during that off year, we got together with the guys at the Expo, the Ski Fever Expo, and we negotiated a buyout. And then last year we had Snowvana post-pandemic. We were the first post-pandemic show in the Oregon Convention Center.
Oh, wow.
Everybody was wearing masks, and you had to have a vaccination card to get in. I mean, it was crazy, but we went for it, in November when Omicron was just raging. Yeah. But I'm telling you, man, people came out. They came out anyway and supported it because they wanted the stoke. Yeah. And so Snowvana's back. It's opens a week from today, next Friday, the 18th, and we're just excited as can be to put on the coolest ski show in the Northwest.
I'm sure if it was big last year, it's going to be bigger this year, because it seems I think people are starting to look at life a little differently post-pandemic.
They do, yeah.
Maybe I can't wait till next year for anything.
Yeah, people miss human interaction. The concert business exploded last spring, and all through they were setting records, and shows were selling out all over the country, all over the world, because people miss that. Human beings, they need that human interaction, and this kind of thing like we're doing today is great. It's convenient. It's very good for commerce, but it doesn't fill the soul. It doesn't feed the soul. So our ticket sales are doing great going into to next week, and we're just excited. We've got 15 great films there. This year we started the Snowvana Amateur Film Competition. That's
nice.
It's sponsored by Level 1 Films and Unofficial Networks. And we put up 5,000 cash, and we said, hey, submit a film. And we got 35 entries from amateur filmmakers all over the country, all over the world. One of the entries was from Russia. And and then we're flying those winners, those 3 winners. We're flying them into Portland next week, and they're going to come and present their film, and we're going to give them an award and hand them a check. And it's just a cool thing. And that's what makes Snowvana different, and I've been to Brian, you mentioned you guys are going to be at the Snowbound Expo up in Boston. That's another great iteration of a traditional expo that's, was, arguably the biggest ski show in the world for many, many years. And they've kind of reinvented it. And they're coming with a lot of new features and exciting things. And I think that is the future of these ski events. Preseason, we call it a Get Stoked Fest or a Stoke Fest,
like interactive, right? Yeah.
You can't quite ski yet, but at least you can go talk to people about it and, be around it and look at all the new gear and, get pumped up. I mean, Warren Miller figured it out, 70 years ago, right? Or whatever it was, 60 years ago. People in November want to get stoked, and there's no better way to do that than to bring them together with, like-minded people and have a good time.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. I'm on your site now. So Snowvana, SNOWVANA.com. I'm looking at your video there, and it just looks like an absolute blast. And
looking at the schedule, you have a lot of films on there.
Yeah, we've got some great films. All the top films from Matchstick and TGR and Level One, Benchy, Creative, and a couple
Is
of
In
others.
Pursuit of Soul 2 playing?
Oh yes, of course.
Of course. Good.
Yes. Yeah.
And then, so yeah, the films that people submitted, was there like, what were was there like a time range that you gave them? Like it had to be, no more than a half an hour, no more than, at least 10 minutes? Or...
I think we kept it to 10 minutes, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So these are real short films. The film that won is about street skiing. It's really cool. Urban skiing, and the runner-up was a film shot in Russia.
Oh, wow.
Before the war, and or maybe, I guess it was shot last year, so it may have been shot some during the war. But
wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. People out there with the technology that you've got a film camera in your pocket now, and you can make some pretty cool content with not a lot of investment. It just takes creativity and willpower, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
And somebody that's willing to jump off the cliff.
That doesn't hurt.
You gotta have that friend.
Yeah, right. You gotta have that friend.
I'll buy you a couple beers after, bro. Just
yeah. But I would encourage all of your listeners out there that we'll be doing this again next year. And if you want to submit a film, we'd love to check it out, and maybe you can get a trip to Portland to present it to our people out here.
Start planning now, right? They can film it during the season.
So, that's the whole idea.
Yeah. Is there any sort of like weird film genre that you think is necessary? Like an avant-garde, like a 30s German style film, black and white, cabaret kind of thing?
Oh, you're thinking
that's a great idea.
Why
not? Yeah, go for it.
Brian, you're thinking of what's the one that we saw on the one with the snowboards? The
Apocalypse Snow?
Apocalypse Snow, you're thinking.
Classic. It's amazing.
Yeah, and I'm not a film guy. I mean, I love a good Stoke film, but Level One, those guys are good, and they wanted to partner with us on this, so we let them be the judges, because they're legit, right?
That's
if
what
I
they
say,
do.
"Oh, you got the best film," they'll be like, "Oh, bullshit,"
Watch
who are you?
this. Yeah.
But Level One, those guys are, they're really good at what they do, and they looked at every film, they studied them, and they picked the winners, and we feel confident that they got the best ones.
See, this is cool too, because again, this can, and we kind of mentioned it a little bit before. Your In Pursuit of Soul and the second one, it's a different type of ski movie, because it's more based on the story, of understanding, the people. And I love that exists now, because that's going to open it up to other people telling stories. Like that's why I love talking to you, because I like hearing the story behind things, kind of like the behind the scenes, the origin story. Everybody loves a superhero origin story movie. That's the best one. The sequels are always kind of annoying, kind of trite and contrived, but the real origin, how did you get from point A to point B? That's so much more interesting to me than, okay, you're at point B now. Like,
right.
You're like the greatest skier in the world. We saw you just do a triple backflip. It's like, but how did you get to that point? Like everyone thinks I want to be that guy, but most people don't know the story, the hardships, everything that went into getting exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's what you guys do. That's your job, is to get to the bottom of all that.
That's why we do this. That's why I love doing this. I love
the story behind the story.
Talk to the people, and that's what we want to kind of dig and figure out. Like that to me is far more interesting than the triple backflip.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool too. But
it is cool. It's cool, and it's gone.
I want to see Brian do his triple backflip. Then I'll be like,
oh man.
I want to see the outtakes of the triple backflip.
It's only going to be outtakes, unfortunately.
Oh, B-roll.
Outtakes from the hospital.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not my parents' insurance anymore, man. This is going to be tough.
Yeah.
That's the time to learn it. When parents are paying for it, yeah.
Well, once you have your deductible covered, you might as well keep doing it.
That's right. Yeah.
Right.
Get your
what the hell?
Get your
free medical at that point.
So now, Doug, you talked about before, you have a marketing company and you've worked with ski industry before. Just kind of in the recent Indy Pass era, how has the ski industry changed in the last 5 or so years since you came out with the Indy Pass?
Well, I think skiing has become far more popular. We had about a 20-year period there where skiing was flat, participation was flat, and leading into the pandemic, the numbers were starting to go up. I don't know if it was because of demographics or what.
Economics, maybe, like the economy's doing well.
Yeah, the economy was good. Yeah. I mean, in 2018, 19, or 18-19 was a really good year, and then 19-20 would have been, they figure, a record or close to a top 5 year.
Wow.
And then the pandemic hit, right? And nobody knew what was going to happen, but turns out the pandemic was the best thing to happen to skiing since snowmaking was invented.
Yeah.
And because everyone was trapped at home, they couldn't go indoors, but they could go outdoors. And what else are you going to do outdoors in the winter besides ice fishing and skiing?
Right.
Yeah.
So, and when I say skiing, I include snowboarding too. But so that just continued to drive the increase in popularity. The numbers just exploded this past season, or in 2021, huge numbers for the industry. And everybody was like, okay, is it going to keep going, or are they going to all go back to doing what they were doing before? Well, they kept going. The numbers continued to grow. And this coming year, we continue to see growth. A lot of the resorts I talk to are experiencing growth in their season pass numbers that set records the last 2 years.
Wow.
And they're still growing. And it's not like it was, but a lot of people came back to the sport. A lot of people got into it for the first time, and many of those people are sticking with it. And so I think that's been the biggest, the biggest, macro change in the industry. And, from my perspective, and, as where Indy Pass is concerned, I think there's a real renaissance of interest back to these smaller resorts.
Yeah.
And, we've been a part of that, I think, but more so, I think that just generationally and, with the popularity of this sport exploding so fast, well, most people are going to go to a big brand that they're familiar with. So they're going to go to a big resort that, maybe they went to in the past or that they've heard of. And when they got there, they found it was kind of crowded. And so they said, well, let's go try one of these that we haven't heard of, and see what that's like. And they've realized that the experience was just as good, or maybe for them, it was better. And, I think that's contributed to a resurgence of these mom and pops, and I think that's been really cool.
Yeah, you also had COVID, where it wasn't as easy to get on a flight or stay at a hotel. So everybody's like, well, we could drive to these mountains that are close to us. And then they realized, hey, this is pretty nice. We could just do this on a weekend without having to make some big trip and big effort to go fly and stay somewhere, right?
Definitely. I guarantee you there's people in Chicago and Twin Cities and the Midwest, or even on the East Coast, who don't ski in their regions. They just fly to the Rockies, and that's their ski trip, and they get a week or whatever, and that's it. And this forced them to go local. And I think they realized, wow, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, we don't need it. We can ski here, every weekend.
Yeah.
And still have a good time.
I think a lot of folks too who got the ability to work remote during that times too. If they had a second home, a condo, they were able to kind of hole up there for a ski season, and we're like, oh yeah, this is way better being here, being able to get more turns in than having to go back and forth and go to the office and deal with that nonsense.
Yes, and the other thing that did was it pushed more people to midweek because their schedules changes. You know, kids were being homeschooled, and that's not the case now, but still a lot of people are able to, you know, modify their schedules, and the numbers for midweek visits went way up. You know, ours, IndyPass, 44% of our visits are midweek now. And I think about, you know, compared to about a third on average for all resorts, all skier visits. But yeah, people are realizing that, you know, if you can get up there during the week, it's an even better experience.
Right there. Oh yeah.
Work sucks. Snow is better.
Right. Yeah.
Right. That's what
I think
learning.
people are looking at winter a little bit differently. Like there's a change in mindset after being cooped up with COVID, where people were fine being cooped up in the winters before, but then once COVID was over, they're like, wait a minute, I just want to get out. And then they started exploring the winter, and they're like, hey, you know, we can do all this stuff during the winter too. It's pretty nice.
This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't have to dread winter.
Stay active.
Be indoors for 6 months. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
So it's great to see that. It's great to hear that you know, people are getting more fired up about the sport that we all love. But why do you think skiing and snowboarding even matters in this crazy world of, you know, war and COVID? Like, why does it even matter?
What else is there? I mean, no, I'm kidding. I think it matters because, you know, people need to connect with nature and the outdoors. I think it's a vital part of our existence. And in the wintertime, you know, like I said, there's not a lot you can do in the wintertime to recreate in half, you know, the northern 2/3 of the country. So it gives people an outlet. It gives families something that they can do together in the winter that's fun. You know, I mean,
play in the snow.
Yeah, play in the snow. And you know, I think every kid should be able to go on a weekend ski vacation with their family one time. You know, it's a great experience.
Yeah, I mean, how else, you know, I think we're so taken away from nature in our lives, our daily life, sitting at a computer, doing whatever, commuting. But even though it's not truly an honest, harsh winter experience, you know, you're not in Siberia by yourself with no supplies, but you almost like get a little bit of that need to survive this, not the most comfortable condition, to almost make you appreciate things a little bit more. You know, that beer after skiing, that hot chocolate after skiing, that meal. You know, something in our DNA is wanting to reward us too for having that experience.
Yeah. I mean, it's you know, mountain life in the winter is not for pansies. You know, it's right. It can be a little tough, and I think if you know, you survive it, you know, depending on what your level of survival looks like, then that's you know, you feel good about that. I think you're absolutely right. I mean, being in the mountains in the wintertime is
magical.
There's nothing like it. It is magical. It is. And there's no other experience like it. And everybody should do it, and everybody should do it often. I think it's just so invigorating.
I think people realize too, when they're out with their friends skiing or boarding or just being out in the snow, whether it's, you know, snowmobiling, whatever, they're having a common bond and experience with each other. And it's a way to be social without being next to each other, but you're having that similar experience where you have your beer and at the end of the day, and it's talking about your day, and it's fun. It's bonding, you know?
Oh yeah. Recalling those runs that were epic, or the wipeout that you had, or whatever.
Well, back to In Pursuit of Soul 2, the beer league ski racing. I mean, was there anyone on the planet having more fun than those folks?
No way. Yeah. It's the camaraderie of skiers, you know, it's only 2.5% of us participate in the sport in this country. And you know, you may disagree about a lot of things, but everybody can agree if you're a skier, it's a good thing.
Yeah. And with Indy mountains too, like they're local. Like you take pride in them because, like, hey, this is in our backyard. This is part of us. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Part of our
it's
town.
True.
Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, everybody remembers the first place they skied.
Yeah.
It's like your first beer, your first girlfriend, your first, you know, it's something you never forget.
Yeah.
Mine is no longer there. Mine is
but you remember where it was, right?
Bell Mountain in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
It was a tiny little hill outside of Trenton.
Mm-hmm.
And last year we went on a Christmas, like a Polar Express kind of train ride with our kids down there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I got to go drive past it. I got to go see it where it is. And it's still a park, like a state park, but you see the old rope tow is still there. But you know, I think it shut down in the 90s, but just seeing it, I was just like, whoa, like that's it.
It's waiting to be reopened though. Look at that.
Yeah. There you go, Brian.
There we go. Boom. Synergy, baby.
Now, next on the Indy Pass.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Doug, one final question. What is next for the Indy Pass? I mean, you started with Snowvana. You started the Indy Pass. Like, you're making movies now. Like, this is...
You got that Japan thing. You sent that out, and I'm like, I keep talking about it. My wife wants me to shut up about it, but I think we got to do it.
Hey, you got to do it. This is the year to do it. With, you know, the dollar is so strong.
It's a free trip, pretty much.
You can do a 10-day trip.
I'm losing money by not going.
Get your Indy Pass, okay? You can do 10 days, includes meals, bus ride, everything. For $1,400 for 10 days.
Nothing.
Lodging. It includes lodging, right? And meals and lift tickets. That's $140 a day. You can't even get a cheap hotel for that here.
Can't even get a lift ticket, a daily lift ticket at some places.
I've seen flights for as low as $800 one way.
Yeah.
Same, you know, from the East Coast, same thing goes for Europe. It's a great time to go to Europe and go skiing.
Yeah.
You know, I can't help you with the lift tickets there, but yeah, I'm gonna make a trip to Japan this year and check it out. It should be pretty fun.
That's on my bucket list, my quick bucket list, because that's in my 1 or 2 year bucket list. Like I have, that's got to happen soon.
Yeah, well,
getting older. I don't know how.
You know, like it's like Warren Miller said, if you don't do it this year, you'll be another year older when you do.
Yep.
Right. So anything else on the Indy Pass that's happening in the future?
You know, no big announcements or you know, like I said, we're going to announce a couple.
What else do you want from you, Doug? Jeez, well, 130 resorts already, 133.
Oh, you know, I think I don't think 200 is out of the question for sure.
All right.
We'll add 6 more this month, and you know, then we'll probably slow down on that aspect for a while, you know, while people are running their resorts, but we'll be back to adding resorts, I'm sure, by February. And
how about an Indy Pass lesson add-on? How about that idea?
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of
that's Doug's way of saying no.
A lot of things we can
that's a bad idea.
Do, but like I said earlier, we got it. There's 3.5 of us on the Indy Pass team, and
yeah,
it's you know, there's so many things we'd like to do. You just got to prioritize them and do the ones that you think are gonna have the most impact and improve the product as best we can. So
you got to get free interns. Dry and I keep talking about that. Free interns.
Yeah.
That's the way to go.
No, reverse interns is the way to go.
Yeah.
You have interns that actually pay you.
We pay for a lot of things with passes, I can tell you that.
There you go.
Barter system is alive and real.
Yeah. No, we'd like to expand to Europe someday. I think that you know, the Indy Pass could work over there. It's a different world, of course, and there's literally thousands of ski resorts, but there's a lot of indies and a lot of small
Indy Pass coin, like crypto coin.
No.
Let's not talk about
for everything with.
This is a bad week for that. Let's not
let's not talk about that.
Yeah, but no, I think you know, we're just gonna continue to try and deliver good value for our pass holders and good be a good source of revenue for our partner resorts. And if we do that, I think we don't need to do anything else. That's plenty.
That's spot on.
Yeah, and it's again, it's been so cool how you have found. Some people just think everything that we need is here, but you found Snowvana, found Indy Pass, and both have been successful because you had the right eye and, like we mentioned before, timing. Perfect timing for both of these products. So, Doug, where can people get all their information for the Indy Pass?
IndySkiPass.com. And the price goes up on November 30th. So if you still haven't got a pass, they're only $329 for 2 days at 100. It'll be 139 resorts real soon.
268 days of skiing.
If you
think about it.
Yeah.
Think about it. What a deal. Doug, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for what
Brian,
you've done
thank
and brought.
Mario. It's always a pleasure to talk to you guys. It's very, it's invigorating in itself.
Awesome. Thanks, we really appreciate your time and best of luck at Snowvana. Have fun.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Can't wait to hear more about it. All right.
All right.
Thanks.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Hope you guys enjoyed that. If you want more information, we'll have links in the show notes at skibumpodcast.com. Thank you so much for listening. We do appreciate it. Check us out, skibumpodcast.com. Follow us on the socials, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Untapped, YouTube, at skibumpodcast. Send us an email, skibumpodcast@gmail.com. If you want stickers, send us an email. We'll send you out some stickers for the season.
Cool.
Thank you to Chuck Bucket, thechuckbucket.com. Get your ski rack there. We'll be in Boston, snowbound, next weekend, November 18th through 20th. Come by.
Say hi to us.
Say hi. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Stay high, stay fluid.
See ya.